So now let me get into what actually happened. I know what the police said, and then now I need to hear from my son what took place. Of course, he bought his ticket in advance, went to the game. He's with his friends. They in the bleachers. They're watching the game. Some fights took place on the field. Some fights started taking place off the field. My son wasn't involved in none of those fights. He wasn't involved in any fights at all. Him and his friends, they were making TikToks, and so be it. Once the fights and everything, subside, no more fighting, kids are just standing around. It was a massive amount of children, and they were all in groups, and some of them were kind of not in the bleachers, but I guess standing on the side in the grassy area where they were making TikToks and grouped together talking and hanging out or whatever. So, staff and the police are telling the kids to move back towards the bleachers. So you got local staff, local PD, and you also got SWAT officers out there. Now, at this point, the kids that are all grouped outside on the grassy area, they're being told to move back towards the stands. So you have the police and staff and everybody kind of like herding the kids. I say herding because it's almost like cattle walking behind and getting them to go towards where they're supposed to be. And apparently, some of the SWAT officers or officers, they appear to be agitating some of the students as they're walking back. My son sees this. He's with his group over here, and he's already seeing like what's coming towards him. You hear people saying, "Don't touch me," and whatever. So in avoidance, and probably still trying to be cool, I give it to him, he tells his group, he's like, "Yo, y'all, let's go in and go over here. We ain't scared of them boys." And they're commencing to walk in the direction in which they're being told. And all of a sudden, the SWAT officer grabs my son, parades him through the crowd, waits till he gets to the cement platform, then drops him to the ground on his back, puts his knee in his chest, and he's on top of him. And then he tells my son, "Now what? What you gonna do now?" Oh my God, I'm hearing this. I'm trying to withhold tears. My son is like this. Being that my son never motioned or gave the SWAT officer, what he wanted. He was silent, hands up, making sure that he's not making any moves to show any sign of resistance. He was then turned over, handcuffed, and then stood up. I've been teaching my son and instilling this in him. Don't be combative. Don't talk back. Don't even explain yourself. All you have to do is be silent. Be silent whenever you're dealing with the police. Because this has been my worst fear. He's 6'2", and he's black, and he's young. He's 17. But because these kids saw where my son was grabbed up by SWAT, paraded through the crowd, and they witnessed he was walking in the direction of being told, not even towards the officer. He was walking in the direction away. Man, so now they're in an uproar around watching what's taking place. They were not in uproar when the kids were being apprehended for fighting. Can you imagine what that does to kids? Because they don't know what they're about to see. They don't know if they're going to see the police take my son's life. They walk my son out to the front. So they're all in the front. It's like 3 of them. My son, when asked, or even trying to talk to other police officers, like, "Yo, I paid my ticket. I came here. I didn't jump a fence. I didn't break any rules. Why am I in handcuffs?" Nobody's telling him anything. Now, the SWAT officer hands my son over to the local PD and tells the local PD, "Oh, this one says he ain't scared of the police." And then he disappears. So, my son is out front. He's detained, hands behind his back. He's handcuffed. There's a staff member of the school who takes it upon himself to grab my son by the back of his collar. He walks my son away from the other kids that are detained towards the parking lot, and he slams my son on the ground because he's handcuffed, hands behind his back, legs out, hands behind his back, sitting on the cement. The staff member then steps over my son, and he's in my son's face. "What's your name?" My son says his name. What school you go to? He's answering the questions. He's telling them what school he goes to. "You know you're going to jail, right?" Now my son's hands behind his back, sitting on the ground. "What am I going to jail for? What did I do? Can somebody tell me what did I do?" He's panicking because now you have a frightened student. You're badgering, you're harassing, you're in his face. He's like, "Man, just move, just leave me alone, just leave me alone." Because now my son is trying to process. His mom's not here. Like, if you're not telling me what I'm going to jail for, I gave you my name. I told you what school I'm going to. I've been asking this all the while, and now all of a sudden I'm being told I'm going to jail when nobody can clearly explain to me why I'm handcuffed and on the ground after they violated me and put their knee in my chest. So yeah, he's panicked. And again, my son has ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, combined dimensional foot against getting that disorder. How can he process all of this? And now you got somebody who's not the police standing over me. I gave him everything you want after he threw me to the ground. My son can't walk away. He can't do anything because he's restricted and he's immobile because he was thrown to the ground and he's sitting flat, legs out with hands behind his back. So he stepped. That's when the staff member moved. Not only that, when my son spat, a SWAT officer immediately tackles my son, who's already sitting on the ground. At this point, he's pinning his head down on the pavement, and he's not letting up. So finally, another officer comes around in motions and tells them to go ahead and let him up, release him. Now the staff member, oh, I'm pressing charges. You definitely going to jail now. Now, I know everybody's going to have mixed feelings about this. For one, I don't condone spitting. I never taught him to spit. My son has never spat on anybody. So when I heard that there was an altercation after my son was detained, for my son to spit and it lands smack dab in your face, how close were you? Because his aim ain't that good. He's sitting down. That means that you were close enough. You were close enough after being told to leave him alone. But you preferred to harass and continue. And what manifested from his disability, from his diagnosis, he had no other defensive tactic but to spit. And you just happened to be so close that it landed in your face. Now you want to press charges. I'm going to leave it at that for now.